Hello. This is a 20-minute slow yoga flow utilizing active poses specifically for climbers. We'll focus on the lats, shoulders, and hips and do a few heart openers. We'll start our class today in half tortoise. We'll start by taking a seat on the knees, bring the heels together, and draw the inner thighs inwardly towards each other. Again, this is an active pose, so think about really sinking the hips back down into the heels. And then on your next breath, we'll reach the arms up overhead, bring the palms to touch, hands to prayer. Finding as much space here as you can through the spine, can you lengthen up through the fingertips? Really activate through the sides of the body while also maintaining space through the shoulders and then keeping the hips grounded. Maintaining that length, draw the belly in as you begin to hinge at the hips and begin to reach the chest forward. Again, staying active by drawing the hips back, drawing the belly in, reaching through the sides of the body, and then folding, allowing whichever part of the body to hit the mat first, maybe the pinkies, the forehead, the chin. Once you found that connection, upper body to mat, allow yourself to sink in. And then again, still reaching through the sides of the bodies, reach through the fingertips. Shoulders away from ears. 3 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Keeping that length, we'll come back the way you came. So ground down into the hips, the legs, draw the belly in as you inhale, lift the chest, reach the arms up overhead, stacking shoulders over hips. Modified camel pose. Plant the hands behind the hips. Fingers can point any direction that feels good in the wrists or the shoulders. Press down into the palms, lift the hips up off the heels. Gaze can stay forward or maybe take the gaze up or back, beginning to open up through the front of the body, finding a little back bend here, shoulder stretch. And stay here as long as you need. When you're ready, we'll lower the hips back down and then walk the hands forward. We'll meet in a tabletop and take some movement through cat-cow. So as you inhale, you can drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze. As you exhale, press the floor away round through the spine. A few more just like that. As you inhale, lower the belly. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades together, shoulders away from ears. As you exhale, round through the spine, think about pulling the shoulder blades apart. 2 or 3 more breaths. Any other movement, you can peek over one shoulder, then the other. Maybe shift the weight forward and back, stretching through the wrist or the forearms. And stay here longer if you'd like. Option to take a downward facing dog. If you're with me, we'll walk the hands about a palm distance forward, and you can bring the hands out a little bit wider, maybe even turn the fingers away from each other to create a little more space here through the shoulders. Tuck your toes, send the hips up and back. Generous bend in the knees, maybe take a couple pulses, chest to thigh, and then think about maintaining as much length in the spine as you can by pressing into the feet and then lengthening the hips up and back, shifting the weight out of the wrists and the shoulders. Option here to tilt the heels over towards one side and then the other, beginning to stretch through the sides of the body. About 2 or 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll meet through center, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right leg will lift. You can bend your knee, maybe stack your hips, find a little scorpion tail here. Beginning to open up through the right side, any little movements that you'd like through this top leg. We'll take this into a wild thing or fallen star. So re-level the hips, draw the right knee towards the left tricep, and then straighten the leg, plant the pinky toe side of the right foot down towards the mat. Press into the legs, left arm will lift as you begin to spiral the heart open. Stay strong through the legs, option to take that left hand behind the head or maybe take some circles through that left arm. And then when you're ready, we'll plant the left hand down, send the right leg back three-legged. And we'll take a lizard lunge. Right foot can step out towards the outside of the right hand, creating a little more space here for the hips. We'll find a more active lizard here, so left toes stay tucked, back knees lifted, and making sure the right knee is stacked up over the right ankle. Hands underneath the shoulders. Keep pressing in through the legs, and then maybe sink the hips a little bit deeper. First option for the hands, if you want to take a variation, you can walk them forward to deepen. You have the option to stay here with the arms forward, or option to bring the arms out to a T. So you can recenter the hands underneath the shoulders and then walk them out wide. Right arm will walk its way underneath the right quad. You can come up onto the fingertips if you'd like. Again, staying active through the legs. And last option here, if you have your arms out to a T, you can explore bind. So that right arm will reach underneath the right hamstring, and then reach around for the low back as that left arm reaches around the low back. Maybe take a bind with the hands. Again, staying active through the legs. 2 or 3 more breaths here. Wherever you are, you can plant the hands. Option to pass through a modified hurdler's pose. So that right hamstring is resting on the right tricep. Hands are planted underneath the shoulders with that half push-up arm. As you shift the weight forward, straighten the right leg for an extra bonus hamstring stretch. And then whenever you're ready, you can send that right leg back. Optional chaturanga high to low plank or knees, chest, chin. Take a breath into upward facing dog or cobra. On your exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. Any little movements that you need to recenter, maybe finding stillness. And then we'll take that flow to the other side. On your next inhale, left leg will lift. You can bend your knee, maybe stack your hips, any little movements that you'd like. Finding a little scorpion tail, a little back bend, opening up through the left hip flexor. And then when you're ready, we'll meet in that wild thing or fallen star. So left knee works its way towards the right tricep. Straighten the left leg, bring the pinky toe side of the left foot down towards the mat. Press down into the legs as you inhale. Right arm opens up, opening up through the chest. Maybe some circles through the right arm, or maybe right hand behind the head, and taking the weight of the head out of the neck. And then slowly we'll return back to our 3-legged dog. Plant the right hand down, send the left leg back. Lizard on the other side. Left foot steps out wide, maybe to the outside of the left hand, making sure left knee is stacked up over the left ankle. Again, taking the more active variation here, so back toes can stay tucked, back knee is lifted, maybe point and flex the right foot, shifting the weight forward and back, finding a little more space through the hips. And then option here with the hands. Hands can stay stacked underneath the shoulders. You can lower the forearms down, or maybe walk the hands forward to deepen. About 3 breaths here. You have the option to stay, or if you want to bring the arms out wide, you can walk the hands back underneath the shoulders if you're not already there. And this time, walking the arms out to a T, left arm underneath the left hamstring. You can plant the hands, maybe come up onto the fingertips. Again, re-engage through the legs. Active stretch here. Last option, you can explore the bind. So left arm will reach around that left leg, and then right arm reaches around the low back, maybe finds the hands. And feel free to stay here longer if you'd like. You have the option for that modified hurdler's pose. If you're with me, you'll plant the hands underneath the shoulders and bend the elbows down to that half push-up. Left inner thighs resting on the left tricep. You can shift the weight forward, straighten the left leg for a little bonus hamstring stretch. Then when you're ready, we'll step the left leg back wherever you are. Optional chaturanga, high to low plank. Take a breath into upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Inhale. Open mouth, let it go. Half pigeon on the right. On your next breath, right leg will lift. We'll bring the right knee towards the right wrist. Lower the shin down. You can draw the shin forward towards the wrist. Adding any support that you need underneath the hips as needed. We'll take some rolling breaths here with our half pigeon. So you can plant the fingertips out wide, either in line with that front leg or maybe slightly forward. Press into the fingertips, straighten the arms. As you inhale, lift your chest, maybe find a little back bend. As you exhale, bend the elbows as you mount the chest forward, finding this little fluid movement here through the spine. Flowing here. So as you inhale, straighten the arms, lift your chest, maybe lift your gaze. On your exhale, roll through the spine, bend the elbows, begin to melt the chest forward. About 2 or 3 more, just like that. Trying to really exaggerate this movement through the spine and then really flowing with the breath. You can continue with this movement, or next time you exhale, maybe you make your way to a sleeping pigeon. You can walk the hands forward, maybe lower the forearms, or maybe the chest down. About 5 or 6 breaths here. You may choose to stay here, or option to add a king pigeon. If you're with me, we'll walk back up onto the hands and bend your left leg. Left hand reaches back for the left ankle. Right hand can stay grounded. Option to stay, or maybe the left foot makes its way into the crease of the left elbow. You have the option to stay, maybe reach the right arm forward, or take that right arm up overhead, take a bind, reaching for the left hand. About 2 more breaths. Wherever you are, slowly begin to unravel. We'll plant the hands, meet in a downward facing dog. Take any little movements here that you need to release or any other poses before we take that to the other side. And no rush. Whenever you're ready, inhale, left leg will lift. On your exhale, left knee towards that left wrist, half pigeon on the other side. Making sure hips are leveled and grounded, so adding any support you need underneath the hips. Readjusting the legs as you need. See if you can square the hip points towards the top edge of the mat. And taking those rolling breaths to start. So straighten the arms, fingertips, plant down on the mat, either in line with the front leg or maybe slightly forward. As you inhale, press into the fingertips, straighten the arms, lift your chest, lift your gaze. On your exhale, round the chest forward, bend the elbows, begin to melt down. A few more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. About 2 or 3 more here at your own pace. Again, really exaggerating that movement, really flowing with the breath. And then see if you can allow the breath to come first. Movement follows. You can continue in this movement for as long as you like, or if you feel ready to ground down, you can lower the forearms, maybe the chest. About 4 or 5 breaths here. You have the option to stay or add the king pigeon. If you're with me, we'll lift back up onto the hands. This time, bending the right leg. Right hand can reach back for the right ankle. Left hand can stay grounded. Again, trying to keep the hip points squared forward. You have the option to bring the foot into the crease of the right elbow, maybe lift the left hand extended forward. And an option for the bind left arm reaches up overhead, maybe finds the right hand. 3 more breaths. And slowly, wherever you are, begin to unravel. We'll plant the hand, step the left leg back, and meet in a downward facing dog. Last down dog here, so any last little movements, pedal out through the legs, maybe shake the head yes and no. And then slowly we'll begin to tiptoe the feet forward and take it nice and slow just to wake up through the hamstrings, and we'll meet in a forward fold. You can stay in the forward fold, or we'll take a malasana, heels in, toes out, bend your knees, sink your hips. Hands can come to heart center. And option to play with the bind here. So you can straighten the left arm, left fingertips to the mat, right arm reaches up overhead. You can stay here for that twist. If you want to add the bind, point the left thumb down towards the mat, bend the elbow, reach around the left shin. Right arm reaches around the low back, maybe finds the left hand. 3 more breaths. If you're in the twist or the bind, we'll come back through center. On your own time, right arm opens up, left arm reaches up overhead. Stay here or take the bind. Right thumb points down towards the mat, reaching around the right shin. Left arm finds its way around the low back, maybe finds the right hand. 3 breaths here. When you feel about even, we'll come back through center. And we'll make our way to a seat. Hands can land on the thighs to start. Maybe close the eyes. Any movements here through the neck or shoulders, you can take chin in towards the chest, maybe shrug shoulders up towards the ears. When you feel ready, we'll meet back through center, this time hands and come to heart center. And we'll close our practice with a single breath. All together, inhale, fill up. Open mouth, empty the breath out. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my practice with you today, and I hope to be with you next time you're on your mat.